Good evening, everybody, and once again, welcome to another edition of Shots from the Bench. It's only sports talk, and of course, all opinions are both fabulous and flawed. I'm Bob Wiltman. My co-host is Bob Murphy. Our producer, Greg Malanzuk, is running behind the scenes, taking care of the cameras and taking care of all the sound. So any problems with your picture, blame Greg. We're here at Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. Gators Dockside, they have the tastiest sports in town. We're here every Tuesday from 6 to 7. So please come on down, over, up, or around, but come on in and see us. And if you can't stop and visit us live, check on the website. It's www.shotsfromthebench.com. And of course, we are the only sports talk show in the Villages. And that being said, partner, we are down to 1/16 of the National Football League season. Right. Any surprises, any concerns, considerations you have based on any of the games you saw?
I think we're both feeling pretty proud here today, being that we.
Oh yeah, we listen to this. We picked last week and
11-5.
We both surprised ourselves.
That's right.
I didn't think he'd do that well. He didn't think I'd do that well. And
no way.
How about that? We're tied after first, so there's a lot of. I respect Bob's picks, but I still don't think he's smart.
If it wasn't for those stupid Jets, we would have had it.
How about those Jets?
We won't get into that.
No. Oh, but
our producer is raving mad this Tuesday.
He has some problems.
He's a Jet fan. But I like the Jets too, but not like he loves the Jets.
Off the top of your head, we watched all the games. Which teams really impressed you?
Let me get my little list over
Yeah,
here.
I know you've got your write-ups there, but...
I was really impressed with the 49ers last night.
How about
to
that?
be honest with you.
Was it the 49ers? And, I thought they did look good. Or was it... Have you ever seen a team
part of it was
play
the Rams, probably,
a worse football team than the Los Angeles Rams did? Their whole series was punt, 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 interception, punt, 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 fumble, punt. And it's...
well, they're in trouble offensively here.
Yeah,
Case
Keenum is not the answer, and I'm afraid
didn't look good.
Their offensive coordinator, I think, is Jeff Fisher's son. So that's going to be really, really...
They were talking about that today.
Yeah,
are they trying to win, or are they just trying to have friends on the team?
I don't know what's going on there, but they aren't going to get away playing one more game like that. One game, I guess anybody can play like that.
But I was kind of semi-joking when I mentioned the 49ers, although they defensively were very well, and they ran the ball with Carlos Hyde really well.
He impressed me. You're right.
And that's what they are, as a running team.
Yeah, they're going to have to be.
Gabbert was efficient.
He was efficient. He threw a couple really questionable passes, but he did fine. Yeah. He did fine.
I think you have to say the Patriots really impressed me.
You know what? It's interesting to say that because I didn't see that coming. Yeah. I mean, I thought they...
We both picked the Cardinals, I think, in that game, didn't we?
I think I took the Cardinals also because of Garoppolo and the fact that they were in St. Louis, in Arizona.
Right.
But I watched a little of that, and I'll tell you what, he looks just like, he looks like another guy who's going to come up in the Belichick system and just run it proficiently.
They were showing a slide of, his drop back and Tom Brady's drop back, how quick they get the ball out and the release motion and everything. And actually, Garoppolo had a quicker release than Tom Brady had, and they both throw the ball very similarly.
And you know what? He's got, 4 games he's going to be in there, and everybody was worried if they're going to go 2-2. Yeah. They have a real chance of going 4-0 without him.
They looked really good. And
they won't go back to Brady, but
they really looked good.
He's feeling good about that.
Sure.
Holy mackerel.
I thought the Giants looked pretty good defensively. They played against a very good, I shouldn't say very good, much better Cowboy team.
Cowboys got some good athletes.
But they played in Dallas.
Yeah.
Pulled the game out, which they had to do.
For an interleague game or an interdivision game, that is huge to win a game like that on the road. Yeah. That's unbelievable.
So many teams right now you are just trying to find their rhythm. You've been playing preseason games, and you're probably not even play half the games. Or you have no real consistency or timing with your receivers or your quarterback, whatever.
That's an amazing win for the Giants because the first game out of the blocks against your top division rival, at least in their eyes, to go on the road and to win it, and win it in the fashion they did. I'll tell you what, I'm sure they're feeling great to have Victor Cruz back. Now they've got really a wonderful complement of receivers for Manning. He, I thought, didn't look at the top of his game, but like I always think about Eli Manning, he didn't look that sharp, but they won.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
That's so I give him credit.
I was impressed with the Broncos as well. Trevor Siemian, that young quarterback, we were kind of making fun of him a little bit.
Everybody knows Northwestern
really
just pumps out the star quarterbacks, and Trevor Siemian is.
He actually looked more in control than Cam Newton looked in control.
Well, you know what? You got to give the Broncos all the credit in the world because they were set up to lose that game only because of the situation, and the defense helped win it. But I'll tell you what, Siemian did his part. He did more than just control the ball. He actually moved the ball up and down the field a little bit. So that's fantastic. Good for him.
The Raiders, I really like Derek Carr and Amari Cooper and their running back. And boy, there were some major comebacks in this past Sunday.
The way the league's set up now, Bob, with the rules, I mean, and with all the prevent defenses, teams can get up and down the field in like 40 seconds. I mean, it's a track meet. You haven't got a safe lead. If there's 5 minutes left and you're down by 17, you're still in the game.
So many close games. Even the Packers and Jaguars was a good game to watch.
Jaguars are going to make some noise this year, but the Packers are. They
had a chance late in the game, and they weren't able to pull it off.
Well, like I said, they're still learning.
They're right there.
They got to. They'll learn from this game, I hope, but they'll be competitive in their division.
Yeah.
But the Packers they always do what it seems to have to do to win the games, and Rodgers didn't have a phenomenal game by any stretch, but he was there when they needed him. He threw some good passes.
The Vikings going into Tennessee.
Big move on their part, getting the quarterback.
They played Sean Hill rather than Sam Bradford.
But
I think it was a good move. He wasn't quite ready.
No, Sean Hill is okay as a backup.
Yeah, he made some nice throws.
But
Adrian Peterson didn't run. But
no,
you know what? He hasn't played all preseason.
They were ganging up on Adrian Peterson, though. He every time he got the ball over three guys, he had guys focusing and
that's true.
on him the whole time.
I think that's kind of what happened in the 49er-Ram game as well. Todd Gurley, their running back,
you can see how much talent he has, and they were just
Case Keenum, whatever his name.
Case didn't exactly help him out.
No. So we'll be getting into here what's coming up this coming week. We were both 11-5. Good way to start the season.
I might just retire right there.
I think we might be better.
Maybe we should.
But so I don't know if it's time. Should we get into that now?
I'll be glad to. I'm willing to pick the next
let's get into that now. Okay, so we got a Thursday night game. We need the Jets are playing at Buffalo. Jets need to rebound.
They both need to win.
Big way. They
in
both
Buffalo.
Need to win. At Buffalo.
I'm going to go with. I'm going to take the Bills.
You're going to take Bill with Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
You're taking the Jets with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That's a tough one.
Are you?
Tough one. I'm going to take the Jets for my good friend Greg, our producer. Wait a minute.
He doesn't even think the Jets are going to win that.
Never mind. I don't want to pick him. Okay, we'll take Buffalo then.
I talk about a jumping ship on me. Okay, I like that. Okay.
Now here's one. This one should be relatively easy.
Well,
we got San Francisco.
Yeah.
Who played really well last night.
Against maybe the worst performance by a professional team.
But they're more of a running team, and they're a big, aggressive, rough team.
Oh yeah.
They don't have a lot of playmakers, San Francisco, but they have a lot of big guys who can smash them out with their running game.
Yeah.
Okay, we got San Francisco at Carolina. I think we both know. I think we know where we're going with that one.
I was going to say, at Carolina. Okay, you're not going to get into points now.
No points. No.
I was going to say,
at least not on air anyway.
I'm going to go with. I'm going to go out on a limb and take the Panthers.
Okay. All right. Now here's the one that we were talking off air. There's a little tough one here. Dallas at Washington.
That is tough. And,
that's a tough one.
I think that.
You think Dak Prescott's going to rise to the occasion?
No, I actually think that the Redskins are going to win that game.
Okay, you're going to go Redskins.
I'm going Redskins. I think the Redskins I just Dallas with the new quarterback just isn't impressing me like they should be. I think Washington will put some points on the board.
I'm going to go Dallas, just to be different on
there
that.
we go. So if you lose money, call Bob. I got his phone number off the air.
Okay. Let's see. What else we got? We got Cincinnati at the Steelers.
Cincinnati at the Steelers, and I'm from Pittsburgh. And
you're not going to go against the Steelers.
No, I'm not. But no, I'm
Are
not.
you?
But no, I'm not. No.
I think we're both going to pick the Steelers.
All right.
We got to do that.
I'm still not sold. The Steelers secondary to me is mediocre at best. Dalton could light them up, but
he can. But you know what?
I'll take the Steelers. But
watching him yesterday, I wasn't really impressed.
Steelers have a Super Bowl offense and a Division III defensive secondary.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay, what do we got? What else we got? We got the Saints at the Giants. Okay.
Ooh, I'll take New York.
I'm going to go with you on that one.
I want the Giants on that
Dolphins at Patriots.
one. I got to go with the Pats.
Got to go with that one. I agree. Now, here's a tough one. This is a tough one. This is the ones that we really separate us.
I'm ready.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Okay. We got KC at the Texans. Okay, remember last year KC lost their first, 5 games?
Yeah.
And then won 11 in a row?
I'm going to take, I'll probably split with you. I like Kansas City.
You like Kansas City?
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's a tough one. Tough one. I'm gonna go with the Texans.
There you go.
At home. Not because of Brock Osweiler, but because of their defense and being at home. Okay.
One more good one before the break here.
One more good one here.
Before the break.
Before they go, a good one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Any team you pick.
Here's a good one.
All right.
The Tampa Bay Bucks at Arizona.
Wow. And I'm not a big Arizona fan, but I'll tell you what, in this, I don't think they can afford to, at home, lose their first 2 games. I'm going to take Arizona in that game.
I'll tell you.
Sorry, Jameis, but that's where
I am going to take the Bucks.
Oh, you don't get that.
I just really was impressed with Jameis Winston the other day.
Well, I'll tell you what. That knocks off the first quarter, and we've already disagreed on 3 or 4 games.
Cool.
But we will be back. And we're going to talk a lot more football. We're going to talk a lot more about some of the craziness that is the media that is driving me nuts, and a bunch of other things in sports. So we'll be back with the second quarter of Shots from the Bench right after this. All right. We are back with the second quarter of Shots from the Bench here at Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. Gators Dockside, they have the tastiest sports in town. And I know we still have, even though we've got quite a few differences of opinions on the games coming up next week.
That's what we want, right?
I think we still have a few more games before we segue over to baseball. Let's see what we got.
Yeah. Okay, we got Marcus Mariota and the Tennessee Titans going into the Detroit to face Matthew Stafford and the Lions.
You know what I'm going to do? And here, I'm going to give you a chance to really get an
Stafford
easy.
really played well yesterday.
You're going to get an easy one on me here because I'm going to take Tennessee.
You're going to take Tennessee.
How about that?
Ooh,
I'm not 100% sure of Detroit, and maybe they are as good as they looked against.
Well, that's a toss-em game, really. I'm just taking the Lions because they're home and Stafford played well.
Tennessee's not that defensively.
Well, you got DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
Mariota.
defensively. Offensively, they're okay, but defensively, ooh.
Okay.
There's a difference.
All right, so we'll be different on that one.
Yes, sir.
Baltimore Ravens, Joe Flacco and the Ravens going into the Browns. And who's your quarterback going to be? Josh McCown? I mean, RG3. We didn't make that announcement.
Who's going to be the Browns quarterback?
RG3.
It's going to be Johnny Manziel. It's going to be Colin Kaepernick, maybe. Or it could be Josh McCown.
I think Josh McCown is going to be the quarterback.
They're going to have to go. They're going to have to go out and get Hoyer back from the Texans. I don't know what the Browns are going to do, but they're one good hit on their quarterback from being back in Johnny Manziel land. I'm serious. I don't know. I know they won't get him.
Yeah.
But good grief. I'm going to have to definitely go against the Browns in that game.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that one. I mean, they're in disarray. I mean, the Browns are just awful.
Uh-huh.
Too bad for Cleveland fans.
It really is. Well,
at least they got the Indians.
They got the Indians, and they got
later.
and LeBron and the gang won the championships. Hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Come on, Cleveland.
Here's another easy one for us to pick.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'd have no trouble with this one. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks are going into the Rams with Case Keenum. Who do you think's going to step up in that game?
Here's my reason. I don't care if Russell Wilson's hurt or not.
Yeah.
If they score a field goal, I'm pretty sure they're going to win the game.
Yeah.
I don't think the betting line is are the Rams going to score any points?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, from what I saw last night, no, they're not.
So we're both on the Seahawks bandwagon there. Jacksonville is playing at the Chargers. That's an interesting game.
Boy, that is a good game.
That is a good game.
I think that Jacksonville has arrived to where I think that they're going to come back, and I think now that's in San Diego, and I still think Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. Phillip Rivers is a talented quarterback, I think, but I think Bortles is a heck of a player also, and I think it's time. So I'm going to take the Jags.
Okay, I'm going to take the Jags. I would have to agree with you on that one.
Oh wow, that surprised me. I thought you'd. You being a homer, I thought you'd have gone for that.
Well, their Chargers wide receiver, Keenan Allen.
Oh yeah, he's
out for the season.
Out for the season.
Yeah, that was their best receiver.
No question.
So that's one reason. Falcons at the Raiders.
All right.
Matt Ryan against Derek Carr.
The Raiders have for the last 6 the games they played, they've convinced me that they've got their ducks in a row, and they're going to start turning the corner. They're going to be a factor. They're going to be a factor in that division this year.
So you like the Raiders?
Yes, I do.
I do too. As I mentioned to start the season, I really like Derek Carr
and
Amari Cooper, that combination.
They got some talent.
Yeah. Okay, here's another good one. Andrew Luck and the Colts are playing at the Broncos.
I'm
Trevor Siemian.
I'm pretty sure that Andrew Luck's going to be out of luck.
Out of luck? He had a great game Sunday.
Yeah, well, I think that I think the Colts are not going to pull that off.
Well, again, I have to agree with you, and the reason is the Bronco defense and the way that Simeon managed and his throws. I mean, he was really efficient, really good-looking player.
He looked very good. I can't deny it.
Yeah. So I'm going with the. Here's a tough one.
All right.
Maybe you can be different on this one.
I will.
Okay. The Packers at Minnesota. Minnesota's first game in their brand new stadium.
I think. I really like Minnesota. I know you are going to take Minnesota. I'm sorry.
But you know what?
But I think Minnesota is going to win that game.
Okay. I can't bet against my team.
I'm sorry. I didn't know how you were going to go with that, but
they still haven't decided.
I like the Vikings a lot. I know now that their quarterback situation, at least they've kind of got it straightened out.
It's certainly within the realm of possibility.
They went into Green Bay at the end of last year and beat Green Bay. I think they're a better overall football team. I really do.
Yeah. Well. I know Aaron Rodgers would have something to say about that.
Well, he may, but
you can't count him out. Whenever you have him on the team,
Vikings will have something to say about it too, though.
Yeah.
Vikings.
It'd be interesting to see if Bradford starts for the Vikings rather than Sean
I
Hill.
don't think he'll start, but I'll tell you what. If they start to look like they're having problems, I think you'll see Bradford. Okay. I mean, he'll. It's pretty tough after had a fairly error-free opening game.
Right.
Let him play a little bit.
So then that leaves us down to the Monday night game.
All right.
The Monday night game, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles against the Bears in Chicago.
No, in Chicago.
Jay Cutler and the Bears.
You know what?
I like them. Bears lost to the Titans last week. Eagles. Who did the Eagles play? Forgot.
Bears lost to the Texans. I think.
Yeah, the Eagles beat the Browns. Okay.
Yeah, Eagles. I'll tell you what. Just because I'm just going to pick the Bears. I think the Bears are going to.
They're at home.
Yeah, they're at home, and Cutler seems to play pretty well in Chicago. So we'll
that's a tough.
See where it goes.
Again, that's like not really excited about that game. You can go either way. Jay Cutler could throw 4 touchdown passes or 4 interceptions. You never know.
That's
what you're
Jay
gonna
Cutler.
get. I'll go with the Bears too.
All right, the Bears.
But we did have some differences.
Oh, we have some differences, and we'll recap them next week. Whoever has the better record will be the first one to recap it next week. I guarantee you on that.
So we were different on Dallas, Washington. You picked Washington.
Yes.
We were different on Tennessee Lions. You picked Tennessee.
It was an exciting moment for me.
You took the Cardinals and the Bucks. I took the Bucks.
All right.
Tampa Bay, go Bucks. Those are the only 3 I think that we were different. But hey, that's good.
That's good. That is good.
What else is going on?
Well, we put away the football sheets, at least the pro football, and I want to talk about let's talk about the baseball races because they're now getting down where we had 4 or 5 pretenders. Now we're down. We've really limited it, and we're going to talk about the National League first.
Yeah.
Here's your teams. You got the Giants, you got the Mets, and you got the Cardinals, and they're playing for two spots. And we'll see. May the best man win that one. But my guess would be that the Cardinals will be the odd man out on that one. But they may win 12 in a row, as far as I'm concerned. I just like the makeup of the Mets. They seem to have overcome adversity big time, and they've been in this situation before. The Giants have 2. And I guess I'm just saying the Giants, to me, just have too many good players to not win.
It's so
win half their game.
Anything can happen. We only got
anything can.
Just another
but
week and a half.
They have the worst record in baseball, I think, since the All-Star game.
Well, that's an interesting point. Greg, our astute producer, said
Greg
to me.
Knew that, yeah.
He said that the Giants actually had the best record in the major leagues before the All-Star break.
Now they have the worst.
And now they have the worst. They'd be the first team ever to do that if that continues. No team has ever done that. Won the first half and been the worst team in the second half.
Well, they're really, really floundering, and I'm waiting for them to turn it around, and it hasn't happened yet. So
the last 10 they've won 5-5.
That's not good enough.
Their body of work since the All-Star game has been terrible.
I'm like I said, I know you guys are Mets fans that you root for them. I don't particularly root for the Mets, but I just like the way the Mets play. I think the Mets are. They've overcome adversity.
Yeah.
One of their stars goes down, somebody else picks up the slack, and they're doing it again. That's what championship teams do, and they did it last year. Murphy was on fire, and they brought up Cespedes. I mean, they had Cespedes in the lineup, and now Clay Walker, their big, their hot hitter, goes down, and they're still back. And while we're on the subject, I'm still going to throw out another thing. We'll talk about MVP candidates later on, but Bartolo Colon deserves some kind of award here. He is keeping that team afloat. He's just amazing.
At least a free delivery of pizza or something.
But I mean,
really,
without Bartolo Colon, and you wouldn't think that with all the Mets, with all their aces, but Harvey, DeGrom, Syndergaard, Colon's getting them where they're going. He really is. He rolls out every 4th game and gives them 7 great innings, sometimes 8.
Syndergaard hasn't been too bad either.
No, he hasn't. But DeGrom's hurt now, so they're going to rely on him.
I mean, Matz, they just said he may not come back this year.
They
don't
need
even know.
Lugos, they need Bartolo, and they need
Harvey's going
Syndergaard.
for the year.
They'll have to, and
DeGrom is on the deal.
You can bring Nice back. Bring out Nice.
No, please.
Please.
I've seen enough 5-run innings. I don't want to see that no more. Thank you very much, sir.
Sorry. Well, yeah.
But anyway.
Hey, look at it this way. The Mets got Neil Walker for nothing.
That's right.
They gave us Nice, we gave Nice back, and you got Walker out of it. That ain't bad. Bad trade by the GM of the Pirates. I think we can put that down in the bad trade category.
So over in the American League, we've got Boston's back in first place.
Boston's hitting the cover off.
You were ready to
everybody
put them in the grave a couple of weeks ago.
Well, their pitching was starting to go south, but they get these streak hitters, and they're all hitting. They're all hitting again. Hanley Ramirez.
Yeah, best time to be doing it, right?
Ramirez is hitting the cover off the ball.
That's right.
Betts. They got 3 MVP candidates, and the one I think is going to be right at the top is Dustin Pedroia, who's leading off for him. He's hitting 330. He gets on base. He makes 2 great defensive plays each game. Honest to God, he's amazing.
David Ortiz tying
Big Poppy is
Mickey Mantle, 536 home runs.
And even Bogarts is
this past Sunday.
Bogarts is hitting 305. I mean, you imagine that. Bradley, Ortiz, Bogarts, Ramirez, Pedroia. Right. I mean, it's amazing. No matter who you put up. Right. They just keep, and they lost their rookie female left fielder. He's coming back, Benedetti. I can't.
There's only one
I'm not
team
pronouncing it right.
There's only one team that I can think of that matches up with Boston as far as their hitters would be the Cubs.
Yeah, the Cubs do, but
right?
nobody in the
But the
nobody
Cubs
else,
just have way better
nobody
pitching.
else in the American
way
League
better
does.
pitching.
There's the Cubs do match up with them, but there's
Yeah,
nobody else.
but
I think it's
that's the only place they match up.
Texas is consistent, but not as
Right.
not as dominant. I'll tell you what, we have got through the first half here, so we're going to take off the pads and sit around the chalkboard and see what we can do better. We'll come back with the second half of Shots from the Bench right after this. We are back with the second half of Shots from the Bench here at Gators Dockside. And we've had our chalk talk. The coach has got us fired up. We're back for the second half. And let's pick right up where we left off, partner. And we're talking the American League baseball and the wild card races.
Unbelievable.
And like I said, the Red Sox are tearing the cover off the ball. And they've kind of taken the bull by the horns. And they got Porcello's won 20 games already. He's not been dominant, but he's certainly been very steady and very good.
That's right.
They're right now. They're prime with the guys. The way the guys are hitting the ball to everybody's got to chase them.
Well, this wild card race in the American League, especially, is really amazing. There's
Detroit's league back into
7
it.
teams
Yeah.
involved right now.
I'm
Detroit number one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Toronto's in the number one spot.
Toronto's one, and Baltimore and
Baltimore
Detroit are
on their
right behind
heels,
them, right?
1 game back.
Yeah. Then you got the Yanks
half game
and
back.
Houston.
Then you got Detroit's a game back. And the
Yeah.
Yankees are 2 games back of the final wild card. Houston's 3 back of the final wild card. Seattle 3. KC's still 4 back. I mean,
I
with
can't-
18 games, you don't know.
They're
You can
pitching.
get hot,
yeah,
though.
if you get hot, but they're
I mean,
gonna,
all it takes
they got to
is,
find a miracle pitcher somewhere because they're running
There's
out
still
some guys.
7
They're
teams
getting shelled. Oh, I know. But
involved.
So you got
Amazing.
to love it. What a great. There's
Yeah.
a lot of decisions that they've made in Major League Baseball I didn't agree with, but the wild card certainly has.
That's true.
Has proven to be for fan interest, and hey, I get excited about it. I mean, I love to watch. Because truthfully, if you're within 5, you can get hot and run the table,
That's
and
right.
bingo, you're in. So
That's
not
right.
bad.
So it's getting down to it. Of course, like I said, in the National League, the winner of the wild card game gets the Cubs. Isn't that nice?
Well,
For a 7-game series.
that's the way it should be. You win a wild card, you didn't win the division.
And in the
guess
American
what?
League, you get probably the Texans, right? They're the number 1 team right now.
Texans will be number 1, no question about it.
So I just don't see the American League being anywhere near as strong
Oh.
as, say, the Cubs.
You're definitely right.
They wind up winning.
As I look at the top teams in the divisions,
Mm-hmm.
Texas isn't overly impressive. Obviously, they've done fairly well, but nobody on that. You're not going to be scared to death playing them, and
Yeah.
I don't think you'll be especially scared of the Toronto or Boston.
Mm-hmm.
But excuse me. But it'll be interesting to see. I just find it fascinating.
There's
that-
just no team really that
No,
has everything the Cubs have with between their starters, their relievers, the hitters. I mean, they've got it all. I mean, doesn't seem like there's any weaknesses on
They
this
don't-
team.
well,
Where can you?
That's because there aren't. I mean, they're going to win probably 108 to 110 games.
They've won 92 already.
And I mean, that's what I mean. So they can just keep racking them up. And as far as I'm concerned,
I mean, we're talking wild card a lot, because we're hoping for our teams to make the wild card. But realistically, when you finally get through the wild card, you got to play the Cubs. My goodness.
realistically, the Nationals can compete with them. Do I think they're as good? No, I certainly not. But if they get their pitchers in place, Strasburg being out really hurts them.
Yeah.
But they got Gonzalez and Rourke. They got some guys that are pitching pretty good ball for them.
Right.
So we'll see, we'll see where it gets them. Oh, and I'm forgetting Scherzer. Scherzer can be lights
absolutely.
out on any given week
right.
or two. So
Yep.
anything can happen. But that will be fascinating. I'll tell you what. One of the things I wanted to bounce off you,
Sure.
and I didn't give you any chance to think about it, and you can have some chance. But let's talk about 2 things. I want to talk about MVPs in both leagues, and I want to talk about Cy Young candidates in both leagues. And a lot to think about, especially if you haven't been thinking about it. But I'll get us started here because I'll give you what I think are the MVP. I think I mentioned them already. In the American League, I'm leaning towards Dustin Pedroia. Now, there's probably a couple other Red Sox that are going to get more votes than him.
Right.
I have a feeling that something could happen, and the Red Sox may just cancel each other out, and Altuve or the Donaldson from Toronto could squeak in there. But I'm a big Dustin Pedroia fan, and have you been watching the American League? What's your take?
Well, like you mentioned, Donaldson, that's one of my favorites from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. That's right.
For Toronto. He's still in the hunt, but I don't know. Really haven't given that much thought.
Well, no,
yet.
I didn't
Not
mean to
yet.
throw that at you, but I was just thinking, but while we're talking about it, and something may come to you, but even the Cy Young, because there's nobody that's blowing the doors off anybody in the American League that you would think about as being an absolute dominant pitcher.
Right.
And Porcello's won 20. Nobody else has won more than 17. But his ERAs are like at 3.3. And, well, there's a couple guys. Well, I'm just curious. Again, I might be throwing something at you, a curveball you're not ready for. But have you been watching any of the American League pitchers?
Honestly, I haven't.
Okay. Well,
So
I'll
wasn't
tell you
ready
what.
for that one.
Well, then I'll tell you what. I'm going to still give mine, and you can tell me where I'm missing the boat. But I've thought long and hard about it, and I think that I think you have to give it to Porcello, or you have to. I'm trying to think of the other guy that was pitching for. I'll tell you what. I'm just going to go with Porcello now, only because he's 20-3, and that's got to stand for something.
Yeah.
If I grind out loud. So, I mean, Sale's had a pretty good year. The big lefty, he's been 17-7, but I know I
think in the National League, Steven Strasburg has had a fantastic season.
Well, now that he's out, though, he's only going to have 15 wins.
Yeah.
Do you think
is he out for the season? I didn't even know if he was out
done.
for the season.
Yeah, I think they had to close him down, which is too bad.
That's not good.
Maybe they'll wheel him out for the playoffs, but I think he's done pitching for the season.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought he'd be back at least for the playoffs.
But he had a fairly impressive year.
He had it really going on.
Shut him down, so he might still be a legitimate candidate.
Yeah, potentially.
I don't think Kershaw will be. I think he's missed too.
How about Curto from the Giants?
Yeah, not bad, but he hasn't been doing great.
Lately.
Late. Yeah.
Yeah, he was really tearing it up for a while.
But
that's what part of the second half was, his inefficiency.
Here's a name that in fact, you tell me. I know because I know you're more a National League guy, but the guy who looks to me like he deserves it the most, and they got a lot of. I got to like John Lester from the Cubs. He's 16-4 with a 2.50 ERA.
Right.
I mean,
Arrieta kind of dropped a little.
Yeah, well,
a little.
He's got stats similar to Lester. But Lester has really been consistent all year. He's every time they put him out, he's been shelled once or twice, but he is the ultimate consistent pitcher for them. And how about the guy that just missed the no-hitter? Kendrick's leading the league in ERA now. He's going to get some votes too.
Sure. When I started the season, I thought the Mets pitchers would have a similar season
they've all been hurt.
to the Cubs, and then one by one they started having injuries and having problems.
Cologne.
Well,
Cologne.
Whoever thought
he?
I mean, if without him, they wouldn't even be mentioned
in
this wild card race.
That's exactly right.
He's the only reason that they were hung in there.
Isn't that amazing?
Amazing. Unbelievable.
But he's not, like I said.
Signed him I think they were going to sign him for 2 more years. He wants to come back.
He's amazing. 43 years old.
Yep.
And you keep thinking, well, the sky's going to fall in eventually on him. He looks better and better every time he goes out there.
That's right.
He's not throwing it by people, but he moves it in and out.
You see him
a
couple of games ago. He had a line drive double down into the gap and run, and he's trudging down to second base, and but he gets there.
Well, that's just a feather in his cap because let's face it, he was out of baseball for a couple years. He's been everywhere. I think he went to Japan for a little bit. He's just had all sorts of and I never really liked him that much when he was a big dominant pitcher because I kind of thought he was a little hot doggage and stuff. But he's just money in the bank. Anytime I know he's pitching and they're on, you got to watch him pitch because he doesn't have any blazing fastball or any big sweeping curve, but boy, does he know how to pitch.
That's right.
He has guys off balance so often. It's just amazing. I mean, I love watching him pitch.
So let's think that wraps up our baseball.
That's our baseball wrap up. But
let me just get a quick shout out real quick for
Sure.
We didn't mention this yet this year yet in the show, but we just came up from the U.S. Open, and Angelique Kerber winning her first
Kerber. Not only did
US
she win her first U.S. Open, she took over the number one spot in ladies tennis, and that is spectacular in so many ways. That was her second Grand Slam of the year.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what.
And then on the men's side, of course, it was Stan Wawrinka of Switzerland.
I wonder how you pronounce that.
Wawrinka.
I've heard Wawrinka, I've heard Wawrinka, I've heard it all. That's fine.
I think I got it.
Tell you what, the guy's over 30, and boy, tell you what, anybody see a backhand that's better than that? He's smoking that backhand.
Ever since he got his, his new coach, he's been like winning majors.
Magnus Norman.
Yeah. And he's been winning. Boy, too bad he didn't have him a few years ago. But he's really, with him and Federer from Switzerland, it's been wonderful. That's his third major. He won the French. Now that's a guy. I was looking at his result in the French. Like Wawrinka, one of his majors is in the French. He doesn't seem the type of guy that would win the French. He's very good off the ground, but he doesn't move as well as a Nadal or someone like that.
He did pretty well, but I thought what Djokovic said about him before they played, and he's a very good big match player, and he really is. When he finally gets himself into the situation where he's playing for a championship, he very rarely lets people down. He's a big time stroker of the ball. There's no question about it.
When he played Djokovic, I thought it was funny. One of the sports talk shows that was coming on ESPN after the U.S. Open final was was welcoming all the fans. Boy, did he butcher Novak Djokovic's name. I can't even do it justice because sometimes I butcher names.
Sometimes I do too.
But that's a tough one. I'll have to read it to you. It's really funny the way he said it. But Djokovic didn't look himself, did he, in that final?
Well, no, I think, but you know what? To his credit, he said he was being outplayed, and he's not used to that. And he was being pushed. He said he got outcompeted and outplayed, and it was an uncomfortable feeling. He kept hoping Wawrinka would fall apart.
Is a very physical player. Really punishes his serve, and he comes in, and he's hitting the corners, and he's really a power player, and kept it. Usually Djokovic is out hitting people, but
that's what I mean. But not this time.
Not this time.
So and like I said, to him, I think he was very, very a great sportsman. Anybody that can get up and say he outplayed me, he outthought me.
Because I'm a Federer guy.
He outcompeted me.
I'm a Federer guy. I always have been. I always followed his career. Always liked watching him play. He's the most stylish player I've ever seen play. And with his 17 majors, I don't want Djokovic to catch him. I don't want Nadal to catch him. I don't want. Those are the only two really that have a shot because Djokovic has 12 majors and Nadal has 14 right now.
I'll tell you what, we'll be back. Yeah. I got a couple of tennis trivia questions for you. Ooh. So we'll be back with the fourth quarter, and we are going to throw some trivia out there, a little tennis. I'm going to see if Murphy knows what he's talking about. We'll be back with the fourth quarter right after this.
Probably not. You're not going to get into Renee Richards or anything.
We are back with the fourth quarter of Shots from the Bench here at Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. Gators Dockside, they have the tastiest sports in town. And partner, we were talking tennis, and I'm going to throw a trivia question at you, and I really like this one. They have top 40 men players. There are 6 that are French. In the top 40 women's players, there's 1.
No.
And I want to see if you can tell me who she is. And what's really interesting, my only hint is she sounds like she snuck in because her last name is hardly a French name. But that's one. I don't expect you to know that one, but I always thought it was fascinating.
She's top 40?
Yep, top 40 woman. And she has and I'll give you even more of a hint, she has a Spanish last name.
Uh-huh.
I never heard of her.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to kill the suspense for my partner, but her name is Caroline Garcia. And
Okay.
Caroline Garcia,
Yeah, I
I've
have
never
heard of
seen
her, but I wouldn't have
you've
known. I
not
wouldn't have
seen-
known that.
No, I didn't know that either. But amazing to me. But one other thing I want to throw at you, and I bet you're going to be pretty good at deciphering this. Staying with the tennis, we got the top 40 tennis players,
Yep.
and there are 2 from Latvia, and only 1 from Australia, 1 from Great Britain, and well, I'll just throw those out because that's 2 big countries. You'd think it would have more than 1,
Yeah.
but yeah, how good are you? Can you come up with the Great Britain woman tennis player in the top 40? Because I couldn't do it either.
Oh my God, you're killing me here.
And the Australian, you should remember, because she's always seeded in tournaments, and I never see her win a match. But she's always a seed.
Oh, it's not. No, not Huber.
No, but you're close. Samantha Stoser.
Samantha Stoser. Oh,
She's always like seeded 15th.
Big,
and every
tall,
time,
blonde girl.
And she always gets beat by some qualifier.
Sam Stoser, yeah.
Somehow stays in it, though. But
Yeah, very good, like a very good volleyer, really good, comes to the
athlete,
net, plays a
yeah.
lot of doubles too.
Almost a muscle bond, 2
Yeah.
muscle bonds. She played, but
Big-
she's
yeah.
very, very talented. But
Yeah, Sam
never
Stoser.
seems to.
Been around a long time.
At the big tournament, yes, she has, and never seems to get it done in the big tournaments.
Yep.
But I've got a bunch of things I wanted to talk to you about. This is rant time. Fourth quarter is always rant time.
Rant.
For Bob and I. And I want it's something that it's really disheartening to me now, and I want to see if you agree with me on it. I want to go right to, and it's actually football and baseball. But I don't know if it's directed by the producers or the networks, but I thought they were going away from this for a while, but they were focusing more and more on what I call bozo behavior. People acting like jerks on the field. And, I don't know what started this whole thing in baseball with the center fielders all having, when they win a game, they all get together and do some kind of choreographed little thing. I just think that is so ridiculous. But then the TV, the camera always goes to them. Oh, we have to watch what the Los Angeles Angels are going to do with their 3 outfielders. And I can't tell you how much that bothers me, because it's not being fun. It's just being goofy to me. But I'm sure you'll have a difference of opinion.
Well, like I said, I like fun to be in the game.
Well, isn't
we
watching the
talked about
game
this.
fun?
Yeah, no, but the game's over. You were saying the game is over.
I know, but so
Yeah,
you have to
I
watch
don't have a problem with it.
choreograph-
I think if you do something, I think a bozo would be like a bozo play, doing something stupid on the field, not paying attention while, and getting picked off or something like that. It's a bozo play.
I'll even buy that.
That's a bozo play. But if some guys want to dance and have fun, and maybe depending on the game, of course, if it's a crucial game and they just want to let out some steam,
They're in
so
last
what?
place.
I mean, and sometimes the fans are into that. They want to. We got.
But are they really,
do
or
we
are
really
they
wanna-
into it? Are they into it because the
Like in
TV's putting
sports.
it on?
In sports, do we really want to take the fun out of a football player running in the end zone and dancing a little bit? And
Please.
doing that? Do we want to take that
are we
away?
gonna disagree
Because
on
really,
this one?
because we're going to just scare away all the young fans.
We might
as well just scare them away right now. We might as well just get rid of them right now.
If they don't like football, they don't like football.
Us
I
old
don't
guys,
go to football.
we don't like that.
I don't go to football games to watch guys dance in the end zone with a ball.
I'll tell
to
you,
me,
I
that is strictly
always-
self-serving, self-promoting stuff. That's how I look at it.
When
but
you go
that's me.
back to Billy White Stooge Johnson back in the day, back in the 70s, or late 70s, early 80s, doing his little thing.
Shame on him.
That was awesome.
Well, it wasn't
I
awesome.
loved it. Everybody, that was so cool.
But it's just like, to me, and I hate, and you're going to get my, where I'm going with this. It's like Colin Kaepernick with the,
no.
I don't mean to bring
That's
up the thing, but you see
nothing
what
like
happens.
Colin
You see what
Kaepernick.
happens. You think everybody's not impressed? Kids are now won't stand up in high school football games.
Oh, that's
all the
bad,
other.
yeah.
Well, that's what it's going to. That's what it promotes.
Well, there's
You're
no,
gonna-
you
if
can't
you're gonna-
equate, you
that's-
can't equate dancing in the end zone
Sure
after
you
a
can.
touchdown to not
It's
kneeling
all
for the national
self-serving.
anthem.
What Colin Kaepernick
It's
did
not-
was self-serving.
nothing-
It's self-serving. If
Not
I
even
score a
close to being the
touchdown-
same type of thing.
If I score a touchdown and I don't round up my whole team and say, and point to all of them and say, these are the guys, they made the hole for me. But they
of
don't do
sports,
that.
though, the whole purpose of sports should be for fun, for the fans to have fun. Why not?
It's not-
when the
but
guy
it-
hits a home run.
Is that part of
and
the,
he
isn't
wants
hitting
to
the
bat
home,
flip
isn't
once in a while or something.
hitting the home runs not fun? You don't like to watch that? You'd rather watch what the guy does with a bat?
Yeah,
I
I
don't-
no, but I don't mind the human reaction to it. I don't mind. I think it's cool to see the human reaction to it.
That's not human reaction. Having three guys stand there and say, "You jump through that hoop," and I'll act like I'm taking
We just can't have robots. Score the touchdown. Here's the ball.
We had it for 100 years, and
I'm telling you, it's fun. I think
Vince Lombardi and Mike Ditka.
If you take the fun out of sports,
Mike Ditka,
you're going to have no fans.
You can go have a seat on the bench. And the same thing with Vince Lombardi. So we disagree. This is what I like. We disagree big on this. I am totally against.
I think most people would want it because that's what's so fun about sports.
It's not fun. I watch.
I mean, like, how about tennis? We were talking tennis a few minutes ago.
I got that too.
When they're having a long point, there's a long point going on, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want Stan Wawrinka going.
No.
Pumping them. You don't want
that's not the same. What I don't want Stan Wawrinka is going over to the television camera on the side and taking it and going like this and hi mom and holding up his shirt.
I wasn't talking about that.
No, yes you were.
No,
you're saying it's got to be fun. That's the only way it can be fun for Stan.
That's a little over the top.
I would think winning the U.S. Open would be fun.
I mean, I think maybe what you are talking about certain situations, because not all you just lump them all into the same thing. They're not all the same.
This man is so smart, much smarter than me. This is the only way I can get him. I like to try to get him into this stuff.
No, but I think you can't take the fun away from the sport. I mean, if somebody wants to, how about sometimes the tennis players will draw on the camera with a pencil. At the end of their match, they'll draw something on the lens.
All right.
So what?
Okay.
As long as they're not being idiots about it.
Well, the last time I looked, the tennis player is the only player on the court, and in football, there's 10 other guys besides you. Yeah. So I just think.
Well, you talking about the end of the game or?
I'm talking about it all the time.
Yeah. No, what I don't like.
I love it.
See, there's a difference between doing a little dance and spinning the ball in the end zone. There's a big difference doing that than going over and taunting the other team. That's a
well. I don't think that's fun.
That's a huge difference. Really. That's unsportsmanlike.
Well, I guess
as long as you're being a sportsman about it and not being mean to the other team or something, I don't see any problem with someone having a little dance, getting a little excited. I mean, that's all
Get
part
down
of
tonight.
it. I mean, you got millions of people that root for your team. You're not going to get excited, and of course you are.
I love it. Well, so we send all your hate mail to Bob. Actually, no, he makes a lot of good points, but I just had to bring it up because I wanted to just see if
What's the next one?
Now I've got him. I've got him hooked now. Tell you what, one of the things I did want to talk to you about is actually. Let's talk a little bit about mascot mania. What do you think about this? The Indians mascot being not acceptable. I was talking to Greg off the camera.
I didn't even know.
Well, no, you got people that are offensive.
Because they're
it's offensive because, and I thought.
How long has he been the mascot? For years. Huh?
I guess a long time.
Yeah. I know. I don't have a problem with that. Well, I have a problem with them having a problem with it.
Well, but I guess politically now they're trying to do the politically correct thing. And I was just curious how you'd feel about that because I said to Greg off camera, there is no bigger stereotype mascot in the planet than the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame with their little leprechaun with his meerschaum pipe. And he's got his feet up, and he's got a beer in his hand. And I think, if that's not offensive to any of the Fighting Irish, any of the Irish people in the country,
I love the mascots.
I think we should be able to put up with.
I love when they have the mascot games. when they're all running against each other on the field, and they're all falling over each other and everything. That's a lot of fun watching that.
No, I don't have a problem with that. No, I'm not going to get. The mascots can have fun.
That's right. Mascots can have fun. Well, then why can't the players have fun?
All right. Enough of that because I might be losing this argument. But I am going to bring up some of the rules. And we had this conversation once before, but I think we need to revisit it because I respect your take on this thing. But I don't get, with football, you got 3 timeouts and a half.
Yeah.
Is it that big a deal to take a 5-yard penalty? If you're on the 40-yard line, would you rather blow a timeout just so you don't lose 5 yards? You can lose 5 yards handing the ball to your running back and having him get caught on a sweep. I just don't understand this with how precious the timeouts are, and now everybody. Oh, we gotta burn a timeout because we can't get the playoff. Take the 5-yard penalty. It's lousy 5 yards. Yeah. I think seems to me that the timeouts should be a lot more precious in that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right on that one.
Good.
I wouldn't
All right.
disagree with that.
That was easy. That was no fight at all. And he didn't think that before we started.
No,
You see how I
agree
got
with
him
that.
around
Give
to
me
my
something
kind
hard.
of
Give me
thinking.
something hard.
All right.
now.
Something. All right. I'm going to like this, and I want to talk about baseball's use of replay, because that usually gets everybody into a tizzy. But I'm replayed out. I'm all for getting the call right, but you know what? Sometimes even the replay can't get the call right. And one of these days we're going to get down to where there's 2 strikes, and they're going to call a 3rd strike, and we're going to have to look and see if the umpire called it right.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get to that.
Right.
What's your take on the replay? You like what you're seeing at second base and all the other stuff?
I don't mind it when they're replaying a home run. They want to see if it's a home run, and they're showing it on the screen.
That makes sense.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's a run.
I don't
That's
mind,
a run producing.
if
You're right.
At home plate when they're to see if he tagged them.
Again, it's
stuff like
you're
that.
talking about runs, which are the important essence of the game.
Something
Sure.
like that is not a bad thing to do.
I love
it. But balls and strikes certainly not. But I wouldn't agree with that. They're not using it for that, are they?
Well, I hope not. But it's gonna. I'll tell you what. We've wound up our time. I got Bob fired up, and he might have beat me in that debate, but I'm not going to let him know that.
I'm going to go
until we get off
yell
the air.
at the crowd.
So we want to thank everybody for joining us, and we will be back next week with another edition of Shots from
I
the
see
Bench.
a nice looking
Thanks so
lady
much,
over there.
folks.
I'm going to go talk to her right now.
Well, I guess I told him.
Yeah. Thank you.